Kanye West had a fashion show where he was rocking some White Lives Matter shirts. And of course, this sparked a lot of controversy. He's promoting this. I don't know if he's actually going to be selling these or if he's selling them now, but he's promoted this in his fashion line. Had himself as well as other people wearing the shirt. So he, like I said, pushing that. And a lot of backlash came out for him. Some people supported him. Kanye West stepped to social media, talked about Black Lives Matter, they scammers, they yada, 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 yada. People have gone both ways on it. A lot of hurt black people, a lot of black people making excuses for him. This is what I'm going to say. Kanye West is a fool. He's a sucker. Understand this, everybody. I know what Black Lives Matter is alleged of doing, or they're saying that there was some corruption, whatever, that they were taking that money and using it for themselves. If that's the case, that's wrong. But the idea that it represents, not the people who led the organization or organization itself, but what it stood for was we were tired of just being dismissed. Every time people got killed in our neighborhood, it was dismissed. You believe the cops over the citizen. You know, we have had rappers make songs about what police do. Nobody seemed to care. And so it just came across as you're saying that black lives do not matter. Now, I've heard, even like WACC 100, who I'm going to get to in a minute, people are saying, oh, well, all lives matter. Even black people are now saying that all lives matter. I don't just want to say black lives matter. The thing is, saying Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that other people's lives don't matter. Saying Black Lives Matter is because we're feeling like our black lives are not mattering in this country, when cops feel like they can just do whatever, they can make up any story, and for the most part, before we started getting video evidence, the cops were being believed over black people. So Kanye West, the same man who famously said George Bush does not care about black people, who did at one point, who truly wanted to push for black people, to get respect and be treated fairly. I would ask you, if you don't think that Black Lives Matter is a real thing, then I guess you at that point no longer feel like George Bush doesn't care about black people. And I know that he apologized for that, but I always felt like that apology was more of he felt pressure in the moment to apologize as opposed to him really feeling that way. But I guess maybe he doesn't. So then how would you explain him waiting a week to offer any aid to the people of Hurricane Katrina? Because, see, that's all what Black Lives Matter means, everybody. Again, it doesn't mean that every other race's life doesn't matter, only black lives. It's not Black Lives Matter only, it's Black Lives Matter as well. And the reason why we say just shouting out Black Lives Matter is because that's our war cry when we see that somebody is treating a black life with less respect than we see it needs to be. But to respond with all lives matter or white lives matter is not because because there's any real big, huge discrimination against the life of a white person. It's because you want to slap in the face the people who felt real injustice and prejudice against us, against themselves, against us, black people. We felt real injustice and prejudice and had to come out with this war cry, this thing to get behind, to push back and say, you're not just going to keep killing us and getting away with it, and you're supposed to be authority. We're supposed to be protecting us and serving us, not abusing us, beating us, criminalizing us, making up things that we did, arresting us without having a first, at least, crime, something that you're arresting us for. And then ultimately murdering us because Black Lives Matter. Again, doesn't mean Black Lives Matter only, just means we haven't seen Black Lives Mattering in this country, and we want to let you know that our lives matter too. Black Lives Matter too. But let's not even get into that. Let's get into, again, Kanye. All these people, and I told you this when he was going in on Kim. Kanye is for Kanye, and all this praise and love y'all give him and the way y'all coddle him and make excuses for him and enable his behavior by laughing about it, say, oh, Kanye crazy, he funny. It's only a matter of time. If you just keep letting that dog go wild, he's going to bite you, and Kanye's come back to bite us. So for all those people that are upset or frustrated with Kanye, this is exactly what Kanye West always does. He's the one who said slavery was a choice, okay? Kanye West has been showing y'all what he stands for now. He's not that old Kanye. And yes, he can make good music and cool clothes. I don't know. It's all to your taste. But that doesn't mean that the person is good. And I understand we want to love our heroes and our black heroes, but Kanye West is standing up for blackness when it suits him and then dismissing it and using it for promotion, using the controversy to promote when it suits him, and pushing our feelings away. But if he's down bad, then he'll come back to the black people. When he's up, he's going to mock us, make fun of us, and go ahead and stand with people who do not want our best interest. And who have an agenda to dismiss any type of grievances that black people may have with this country. And that's sad. Now on the WACC 100, he was on a Clubhouse talking about this, and he got really frustrated because he said he's tired of black people acting like victims and keeping victim mentality. And the thing is, Kanye West is the biggest victim that there is. He cries all day long about how everybody's so unfair to him and then all the injustices that are happening to him. He's the biggest victim you could have. So WACC really should be mad at him. Now, going on to what WACC was talking about, he was like, he tired of this Black Lives Matter stuff because we know black people know that when all they want to do is talk about the police killed a black man, but they don't want to talk about what led up to it. Let's talk about what leads up to it, WACC. Since you want to talk about that, cops getting in danger and their life being in danger. Yes, being a cop is a very dangerous job. But you know what that doesn't mean? It doesn't mean that you get to violate people's rights. That doesn't mean that you get to act however you want to act, be upset, be jumpy, and be and discriminate against others because you think that that they might have done something. And yes, that even includes someone calling in on somebody. If you don't have any proof they actually committed a crime, you can question, but you cannot arrest and beat down and detain and all that stuff based off of no evidence, just hearsay. And that's a fact. And I don't like how WACC was saying, hey man, you gotta give up your rights in that moment, sue them later. No, we have to get to a place where the police know not to try to take away our rights. Yes, maybe in that moment, just do what you gotta do to be safe, if that's what you want to say. But don't just leave it there and be like, that's just what it is. No, then we have to make sure that we're checking these officers and that they know what they can and cannot do. They know what our rights are and how far it can go. And when they need to back off of a citizen because they haven't committed any crime. And they should not be allowed to be prejudiced, as all type of statistics show, as far as like, black people versus white people, how much time they get in prison. Black people versus white people getting pulled over. And daytime is way more black people. At nighttime, it starts to balance out because you can't really see who's in the car. I mean, this stuff has been going on. The systemic racism, we're hearing police chiefs talk about how they can get away with doing this and that to black people. This systemic racism has been going on since before any of us was born. So it's crazy to believe that it's not still very prevalent in these police departments, especially when they're taught to fear the lower income neighborhoods. And a lot of these lower income neighborhoods consist of minorities who look different from them. It's common knowledge, it's a fact that when people around black people, they tend to think that they were bigger and older than what they really are. And that's a fact. So just to stand here and act like there's no discrimination at all, and this was what WACC was talking about, and how everybody can go get a job. And yes, you can. Yes, the opportunities are there, but the systemic racism, the critical race theory supports this and talks about this, of how it's so ingrained into our culture. It's not always overt racism, but it's maybe the way a person's name is pronounced, or the name that they have, or a certain hairstyle they have, or a certain way, a slang of talking, or anything that would deter you from picking them without you even realizing that you're pushing them away because they're more ethnic, and their appearance, and you're gonna go for the white person. So I just, I didn't like that from WACC, and I do like WACC, even though I judge him a lot because I don't know, he makes dumb arguments. And as far as Kanye goes, dude, like, I'm done with Kanye. I've been done with Kanye. There's no reason to continue to support him. I have no desire to listen to any of his music or anything from him. He kind of dead to me. I don't even know. I'm not going to say I'm not going to talk about him anymore on here, but it's going to have to be some real stuff. Moving forward, it's gonna have to be like real big news that everybody's talking about for me to get to talk about Kanye, because I don't know. I no longer have a desire to even think about him. I think he's trash. And this whole White Lives Matter thing, I hope it blows up in his face, because he's feeling like he's untouchable. He could just mock us and make fun of our pain, and then come back to us and cry a sad story when the white people don't give him everything he wants. So, I don't really care about him. I can't support somebody who's just that blatantly dismissive of his own people's plights because of an organization. The organization being honest or dishonest does not take away from how we feel as a people, and you need to remember that.
It's the WACCast podcast. Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack
It's
to me.
the WACCast podcast. Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.